is made possible through the various partners that we have, friends who believe in the Ubuntu philosophy. So I'm privileged and honored to introduce to you Daniel Obst, the president and CEO of the AFS Intercultural Programs, to come to the platform. But before I do that, allow me just to read briefly his bio. Excuse me. Daniel Obst serves as president and CEO at AFS Intercultural Programs, an international organization that provides intercultural learning opportunities to help people develop the knowledge and skills and understanding needed to create a more just and peaceful world. So over to you, Daniel, to come and give us your remarks for this on this platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses. It's so wonderful to be with you, and what an honor also to be able to hear Mama Shamsa speak and talk about building bridges and the incredible passion she exhibits for empathy and for understanding others and relating to others, and also for taking action. And this is something very important that you said. I wonder if I'm able to share my screen. Is this something possible? Because I would love to share a few things. If not, I will just speak. But while I
you are able.
Okay, wonderful. Because then I want to share with you a few things as an introduction, because it is quite interesting to think about, and Moses read the bio of AFS. My name is Daniel Obst. I'm the president and CEO of AFS. I grew up in Germany. I had adopted siblings, one refugee boy from Cambodia, a sister from India, and a brother from Colombia. So my whole life was growing up among a really diverse household. They were all older when they were adopted. So it was also language barriers, cultural differences, and so on. And so I think that really informed my life and how I want to lead my life and how I want to contribute in my work life as well. And so now I have the privilege to be at AFS, which is all about building bridges and giving young people opportunities to develop their intercultural skills and take action in the world. So I'm really, really passionate about this. But I thought what would be interesting to share with you is how AFS started in just one picture. And this picture. This is from World War I. And AFS actually started as the American Field Service, sending volunteer ambulance drivers to Europe during the First World War to drive ambulances and to transport wounded civilians and soldiers. So it was a humanitarian organization, very different. And then in the Second World War, they did this again. And over the course of the two world wars, they transported more than 1 million wounded civilians and soldiers. So it's a huge contribution. But they came back from the war and they said, we've seen the horrors of the war. What do we do now? You know, do we build a clubhouse for ourselves or do we do something? And they said, well, how do we preserve peace in the world? And they said, one of the best ways to preserve peace is to give young people an opportunity to have an intercultural experience, to live with another family in another country, to experience life in another place and to build friendships. And this is really where AFS programs started. And so now we have so many different types of exchange programs. But I wanted to share this because it is one thing to build bridges. It is also what you then do when you build those bridges. And so for us, we now talk often about intercultural learning, but also about active global citizenship. And I think the world needs more active global citizens. You all are from every place around the world, and you are all faced with different challenges in your community, whether it relates to social challenges, whether it relates to war and conflict, whether it relates to climate, poverty, access to resources, inequality, and so on. And so all of us have an opportunity and a responsibility to do something, whatever it is that we can contribute. And so we do need to be active global citizens. And I wanted to give you this definition that we have at AFS, because I think it resonates so much with what I just heard Mama Shamsa say, but also with what Moses said in his introduction. It's that active global citizens are people whose informed, compassionate, and ethical compass drives them to lead lives and make decisions that contribute to a more just, equitable, peaceful, and sustainable world. So think about that definition in a way, right? It is a compass. It is something that gives you direction in life. And being a global citizen means that you value and belong to a common world, just like this Ubuntu United Nations platform is. We're part of a common world. There are many differences, but there are also so many things we have in common, as we just saw earlier, that you inquire critically about the world around you, that you understand and relate to others. So this whole sense of building bridges, but then we also have this important component of taking action. And so I want you to just reflect in your own time, whenever, about why it is important to be an active global citizen. So why might developing active global citizenship matter to me? Why is this important? Why is it important to people around me, my families, my friends in my city? And why might it matter to the world? And I just hope that you take this image of the compass, that you have something that can guide you in your life, because I think intercultural learning and building bridges and being an active global citizen is a lifelong learning process. It's not something you gain from one webinar or from one university or some other thing. It is something that you have to build and practice over a lifetime. But the most important is that you have this compass and you know what it is that you want to achieve and who you want to be in this world. So I know all of you are already active global citizens, but I encourage you to take this compass forward and lead a life of purpose and with support and empathy towards others. And I do want to just conclude by saying that I would love to meet many of you in person, and I would invite you to consider joining us at the AFS Youth Assembly, which will open at the United Nations on August 16 here in New York, and I hope you can join us. But thank you so very much for allowing me to join you here today, to be part of your discussions. And I am the biggest fan of Ubuntu United Nations. You do amazing work, and it's so inspiring that you have all these young leaders around the world who are committed to working together, to building bridges, and then taking action. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David, for your presentation, and for us to be active global citizens. And I think the secret is in action. And for the invitation that you sent, I think you shared with us the website for the Youth Assembly. And I hope the tech team will also share on the Ubuntu United Nations platform all the information on how the young leaders can participate. But thank you again for your time, and it was a real honor to have you here. So now, as we continue with our program, I hand back to the co-host for yet another exciting session with yet another inspiring speaker that is coming. Maria, what do you have for us?
Thank you, Moses. I was reading here the chat and seeing that we already have some delegates that knew about this organization so special. So we are more together than we think.